All right, we are looking at the homework for Unit 4, Lesson 7, all sum or no solutions. All right, up here we have this equation, 3x plus 8 equals 3x plus blank. And the question is, what value, so what number can you write in the blank that would make the equation true for 3 different circumstances, okay? So the first one is, we want to write a number in that blank that would basically make that equation never true. Any value of x we put in, it is never going to be true. Okay, so what I'm noticing is I have 3x on both sides. What that means is eventually we can cancel out both of those 3x's, which leaves us with 8 equals something. So if we want to make an equation where it is never true, we just have to fill in the blank with a number that is not 8. Okay, so any number that is not 8, you could have written. Any number that is not 8. I'll show you why this works, because it'll be 3x plus 8 equals, let's just do 1, plus 1. Well, let's get rid of it. Let's get this variable over here. So minus 3x, you'll notice it cancels out on both sides. And as we all know, 8 does not equal 1. Okay, so there's no value of x that you can put into this equation when the blank is 1 that'll make it true, because 8 will never equal 1. Well, what if I wanted all values of 8 to be true, or x to be true? What number do I need to put in here that no matter what x is, it'll always be true? Well, eventually we want to get 8 equals 8. So if I put 8 here, any number we put in for x will always make a true equation. So 8, and I'll show you. Plus 8 equals 3x plus 8. Well, we can cancel out the 3x's, and you'll get 8 equals 8, and that is always true. So if x was 1, well, that would be 3 times 1 plus 8 and 3 times 1 plus 8. It's the same thing on both sides. Okay, they match. So any x value would work. What about just one value of x? Is there any circumstance where there's only one value of x that would make this a true equation? And I'm going to say not possible. That is because either 8 does equal 8, like this, or it does not. There's only one number that equals 8, and it's 8. So there is not another option. All right, so for 4, 5, and 6, we're just getting y on one side of the equal sign and everything else on the other. So all I need to do is move everything that isn't y. So this, that's not y. Let's move it. We got to get it over there. And we know in order to move something, we do the opposite. So I see a minus x, so I'm going to do plus x, which cancels it. Now the y is finally by himself. But if I did plus x over here, then I have to do plus x here. I'll end up getting y on one side, just like it says here. And then on here, I'm going to just rearrange it so the x goes first. So it's an x plus 2. Well, now that looks like the equation we can use to graph a line. The slope is going to be 1, and the starting point is 2. So positive 2, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. All right. There it is. Okay, let's move everything that it's not y. So here needs to go over there. In order to move it, I have to do the opposite of what I see. That's a positive x, so I got to subtract it and subtract it. Now, when I rearrange this to have the x first, I need to remember what is the value of that x, and that x is negative. So y equals negative x minus 8. That means the starting point is negative 8, and it goes down 1 over 1, and I'm running out of space. All right, and the last one, just move everything that is not x, or y. Move everything that's not y. So this, not y, needs to go over there. In order to do that, got to do the opposite. That would be minus x and minus x. I like to put my x's first. Okay, so that's a negative x, so he goes first. That's a positive 2. That means my starting point is positive 2 with a slope of negative 1. All right. Here we go. Getting a little bit more interesting here. Same rule. Move everything that's not y. So that's y. That is not. Move it. It's a positive 2x, so I subtract 2x. Subtract 2x. These dang lights. All right. I like to rearrange it so y is always in the front and x is always in the front. That is a negative 2x. And that's a negative 1. Now it looks like how we can graph. The slope would be negative 2, and the y-intercept is negative 1. All right, I'm noticing here everything is a multiple of 2. We got 2, 2, and 4, so I'm just going to divide everything by 2. That would give me x minus y equals 2. Move everything that isn't y. So x needs to go over there. So minus x, we'll get negative y equals 2 minus x. Now, I don't want y to be negative. And if you remember, that's basically a negative 1y. So I'm going to divide everything by negative 1 so it goes away. That will give me a positive y, a negative 2, it'll basically make that negative, and a positive x. Now, this is a little backwards, but just look for x and you'll find your slope. Okay, there's nothing in front of x, which means there's an invisible 1. And that number right there is our y-intercept. It is minus 2. All right, the last one, move everything that is not y. That is not y. Move it. That would be minus 3x, minus 3x. We have negative 2y equals negative 1 minus 3x. Got to get rid of that negative 2, so divide, which means I divide all of that by negative 2 as well. That will give me y. Negative over negative is a positive, and it's just 1/2. Negative over negative is a positive, so it's 3/2 x. Okay, let's put our x's in front. So 3/2 x has a positive value, so it's positive, and the 1/2 has a positive value. Okay, our slope is 3/2, and our y-intercept is 1/2. And there is the homework for Unit 4, Lesson 7.